Paul Mancano alongside MASN Orioles insider Rock Kabako. Rocky wrote the other day on MASNsports.com about how Mike Elias likes to wait until late in the offseason to make moves, and he stayed true to form.
Yeah, and it could be late in spring training. We're going to keep an eye out for other moves, but we already knew, obviously, they're looking for another veteran starting pitcher. They explore trades, looking free agency, maintained interest in contact with Michael Wacha, but they end up trading for Cole Irvin with Oakland. And still not that true number one necessarily, but certainly a guy could be the only lefty in the rotation. He has a shot to compete for the start on opening day unless they don't want to pitch a lefty at Fenway Park, maybe slotted behind Kyle Gibson. But he's another veteran guy who they think they can count on to take the ball every 5 or 6 days, eat up innings. He made 62 starts his last 2 years with Oakland, averaged about 180 innings. Sub-4 ERA this past season, though. He really benefited from pitching in Oakland. There's no doubt about that. You look at the splits, I mean, it's there. But somebody that they obviously think can go ahead and consume innings for him. Not a big strikeout guy. They're fine with that. Not a lot of experience in the American League East. He's faced some of the teams, but not a whole lot. But clearly very excited to be here. And we knew somebody else was coming, so maybe now they're finally done with the rotation, we think.
Yeah, the ERA was 2 runs lower at home at the Coliseum than it was on the road, but he could benefit from that left wall being moved back at Camden Yards, and he had a chance to pitch here late in the season last year when Oakland played the Orioles. He got an up-close and personal look at this young Orioles team. It's the likes of Gunnar Henderson and the guys like Grayson Rodriguez that are coming up that makes him so excited to join such a young team in Baltimore.
Like I said, we're young, and there's so much good to have when you're young. Is this team? There's so much talent. If you look around the field, you got Adley, you got Gunnar, and then you got the young guys coming up with DL Hall. John Means coming back from TJ. I think there's just so much. Kyle Gibson there. I think there's so much good about this team, about this organization. Just to look forward to this season, coming off of a very successful season last year. It wasn't where the team wanted to end up, I'm sure. But there's a lot of potential to turn some more heads in our direction. And that's coming into spring. I think that's the goal, is to turn more heads and get some more attention on us to be able to win more ball games. And I think we have the team and the lineup and the rotation to do it. There's a lot of talent, and I saw it at the end of last season with the pitching staff. It's going to be exciting. I'm excited to get down and meet everyone. I don't know anyone personally, but I know from a competitive aspect, I know some of the guys. So it's going to be an exciting year. I'm eager to just get started and get down there.
Irvin could be the only lefty in the rotation come opening day. So, Rock, the fit is certainly there between the Orioles and Irvin. But who would he bump out of the rotation if he were to join the Orioles rotation come opening day?
Yeah, that's the number one most interesting topic for me in camp. And we know he's in the rotation. They have him under team control for 4 more years, by the way, so that they love that. But with Gibson and him, then you're looking at, Dean Kramer, Kyle Bradish, Tyler Wells certainly seem like locks when the season ended. And Grayson Rodriguez, I still think, he's all but guaranteed a spot. So I feel like I don't think this impacts him, even if you want to monitor his innings. I don't think you begin him in AAA. That's 6 starters for 5 spots, and as far as we know, it's a 5-man rotation. And we're not even talking about the fringy guys. Austin Voth, who they avoided arbitration with, is getting paid $1.85 million. Is that for a swingman, long reliever type? Perhaps. We didn't mention Bruce Zimmerman, Spencer Watkins. I mean, Mike Baumann. There are other guys out there. So perhaps, just maybe, and we're all speculating on this until we actually get to camp and talk to some people and see what they do, that maybe Wells is a guy who transitions back to the bullpen at least momentarily and is maybe the piggyback guy for Rodriguez, since they do want to monitor his innings, so maybe as a second starter. So maybe you work 6 starters in for those 5 spots. by doing that, which is interesting since Wells obviously was the guy being piggybacked last year. That's one possible solution. We're going to have to see how this works out. And again, this is making the assumption there are no more starters joining them, because you have to build an addition onto this rotation at this point.
And you're making the assumption that everybody stays healthy. It feels like we have this conversation every year in the offseason, and then spring training comes and somebody goes down with injury. That opens the door for somebody else. So we'll see. Long time before spring training, and spring training itself is 6 weeks long. So a lot can change in that time period.